Okay, welcome back to my class. So today we'll discuss a very important concept, and that is worker population ratio. Let us see, this worker population ratio is also known as participation of people in employment. So let us see how can we define and how can we calculate worker population ratio. Let us see, the number of persons employed per 100% is termed as worker population ratio. It is also known as workforce participation ratio. It means, let us see, out of 100, how many persons are employed. It means out of 100%, how many persons are employed, how many number of persons are workers. That shows the worker population ratio. So worker population ratio is calculated using this formula. This worker population ratio is equal to total number of workers divided by total population multiplied by 100. Total population is clear, the total population of a country, then total number of workers. It means total number of workers. Workers means those who are engaged in the economic activities, those who are contributing to the production of goods and services, whether they are self-employed workers or whether they are hired workers, whether they are working on regular basis or whether they are working on casual basis. So this total number of workers divided by total population multiplied by 100 will give us worker population ratio. This worker population ratio is to measure the participation of people in the employment activity. This shows that how many people of the country are participating in the economic activities. And this worker population ratio is used to analyze the employment situation in the country. So employment situation of a country can be analyzed by using this worker population ratio. This ratio is useful in knowing the proportion of population that is actively contributing to the production of goods and services of a country. This indicates the status of workers in the society and their working condition. So let us see, the status of the people, status of the workers can be, let us see, analyzed on the basis of the worker population ratio, and the condition of the workers are also can be analyzed on the basis of the worker population ratio. So let us see, this worker population ratio, in some countries this worker population ratio is low, in some countries this worker population ratio is high. If the worker population ratio is high, it means, let us see, this large number of population of the country are actively participating in the work in the production of goods and services. And in a country where the working population ratio or worker population ratio is low or medium, that shows, let us see, large number of population, they are depending on others. It means large number of population are not participating in the economic activities. So in order to make the analysis of the worker population ratio, one data is given in our NCERT book. So this worker population ratio in India 2009 and 10 is given here. So let us see this worker population ratio. Here it is given men, women and total is given. Here the total, this men, then women, then total, then rural and urban. This worker population ratio is given. Here let us see, it is given 38.6. 38.6, when we'll take the round figure, then 39. This 39 shows that every 100%, about 39 are workers in India. For every 100%, about 39 are workers in India. It means out of 100, only 39 are workers. Rest are non-worker. Non-workers may constitute the children, may constitute the students, may constitute the old people, may constitute the retired person, may constitute the disabled person. It means, let us see, out of 100%, only 39 are the workers in our country. So here if you see the urban and the rural, let us see urban and rural and urban, if you see then you will find, let us see, this in the rural areas 39.9. 39.9 means approximately 40. So worker population ratio in rural area is 40, whereas in urban area it is 35.5, means 36. So it means, let us see, worker population ratio in urban area is less than the worker population ratio in the rural areas. So here let us see, I have already written in urban areas the proportion is about 36, whereas in rural areas the ratio is about 40. Compared to urban sector, people in rural areas have limited resources to get education at higher levels, so they participate more in the employment market. So the people living into the rural areas, let us see, they used to get less access of higher education, and that is why they used to participate in the working or in the labor markets at their early ages. So the people living into the rural areas, they joined the work at their early ages in comparison to the urban people. In the people living into the urban areas, they go for the higher education, they go for training, they go for their skill development, and they used to study at their late ages, and that is why this worker population ratio in rural area is more in compared to the worker population ratio in urban areas. Here, number of women's workers in rural area is 25, is more than the women workers in urban areas, 15%. Here let us see, if we'll take the this worker population ratio of women both in rural area and urban areas, then you will find in urban areas only 15%. So 14.7, it means about 15%. It means out of 100, only 15 of the women they join the work. So 15 out of 100, only 15 are working, whereas in rural areas, out of 100, 25% of the women are the working. So this worker population ratio of the women in rural area is 25, whereas the worker population ratio of the women in urban area is 40. This is 15. If you take at the India level, then here you will find 21.4. It means 21.4% of the women are workers in our country. Rest of the women, they are non-workers. They do not work. And let us see why the women do not join the work in our country, either in rural areas or in urban areas. It is because of the, let us see, the discouragement of the women to join the work. Let us see, in our country, the females are discouraged not to join the work in our country, and that is why, let us see, the females, they do not join the working population, and that is why, let us see, the worker population ratio of women in our country are less in compared to other countries, in compared to developed countries. So in last, let us see, compared to female, more males are found to be working. It is common to find that families in India discourage female members to work because men are able to earn higher income. So men generally used to earn higher income, and females, they are discouraged to join the work in our country, and that is why, let us see, this worker population ratio of women are less in our country in comparison to other country. Even let us see the female worker population ratio in rural urban area is less in comparison to the rural areas. So I think this concept is clear to all of you. Once again, let us see what is the formula to calculate the worker population ratio. Worker population ratio is equal to total number of workers divided by total population multiplied by 100. And this worker population ratio is used to measure the participation of people in the employment activity. This ratio is useful in knowing the proportion of population that is actively contributing to the production of goods and services of a country. Okay, thank you.